Today, in this presentation, you're going to be introduced to steps for conducting systematic literature review. So we're going to look at 5 steps of conducting a systematic review adapted from Han Kuhn's work of 5 steps to conducting systematic review. First step of literature review is framing the question. The second step is identifying relevant works, and then assessing the quality of studies, and then summarizing the evidence or conducting a meta-analysis. Last step is interpreting the findings. So we're gonna look at these 5 steps in detail in coming slides. Step 1, framing the research question. Research question is the question your research is trying to answer. So framing your research question is the first but the most important step of your literature review. If you adequately formulated your research, it will save tons of time and efforts for you to not scatter around the unnecessary information. Good formulated research question will further guide you through the research writing. Research questions also should be clear, focused, concise, complex, and arguable. We're going to look at some of these qualities with the example later. So here are also 5 tips for framing your research question. First, choose an interesting topic, or maybe your professor has assigned some topic for you. And then second, do some preliminary research and readings on your topic to narrow it. Ask questions like, what issues are scholars and researchers discussing when it comes to your topic? And what questions have been answered and what have not? And third, also an important tip for you is consider your audience. For us, most college students, we need to write in academic language. So we're writing for educated audience in academic language. Fourth, ask open-ended questions like how and why about your topic. Don't ask questions that can be easily answered by yes or no answer. So example is, why vulnerable groups of society are being disproportionately affected by COVID-19? This can't be easily answered by yes and no question. So it could be a good research question for your research. And then evaluate your research question, like ask these questions like, my research question is clear, is it focused, is it complex, can it be answered by simple questions, etc. Here are some examples of research questions. So how should social networking sites address the harm they cause? For this question, this is unclear. What social networking sites are you targeting and what harms you would like to discuss? So it's unclear. So instead, what action should social networking sites like MySpace and Facebook take to protect users' personal information and privacy? Also, one example of unfocused question is, what is the effect on the environment from global warming? But it's not focused. So instead, what is the most significant effect of glacial melting on the lives of penguins in Antarctica? So step 2, identifying relevant works. First, you need to identify your research keywords. Like if you are going to conduct a research on effects of COVID-19 with vulnerable groups. Your keywords would be COVID-19 and pandemic, vulnerable groups, or you want to be more specific. Your keyword could be like immigrants or children or women, etc. And then becoming familiar with database search engine is very important. It's very crucial. And also ask for research librarians help on that. Being familiar with your database will help you to get the correct data or relevant papers with your research, and also targeting the important source for your research. So I'd like to recommend you to ask for your research librarians help. I believe Sarah is our social science research librarian. She's great, and you can reach out to her if you need help from her. And also there are 5 top databases that you can search relevant works. The third step is assessing the quality of studies. Simply, this is narrowing down and reducing the number of researches by eliminating irrelevant works. So if you already formulated your research design and research methods, that could be a big criteria for you to look at the relevant works. And then look at the articles from a trusted resource or peer-reviewed journals. Here are some top journals, peer-reviewed journals with high impact factor in the political science down below. And also one thing I would like you to be mindful is that check for any biases. Did the author exaggerate or undermine the results of a study, or did author asking acknowledge any research basis, etc. So there could be any kind of biases in a research work. This is normal, but you need to identify where is the biases and how you're going to address that biases in your research. Fourth, and also very important step of doing systematic review is summarizing the evidence and conducting meta-analysis, and it's also called synthesis. So high quality research papers always provide very good synthesis of what have been done in a certain topic. Synthesis involves reading multiple sources of information that address a particular topic and pointing out the important information they provide about the topic. So on the right, you can see a synthesis matrix, which I use often in order to do my literature review. And this is really helpful method of doing a synthesis. So what I do first is just open a simple Excel file and then list the subtopics in the first column. And on the top row, I also list the sources that I would like to use in my research paper. So you will catch and transfer all the important information into the matrix, and then later you will gonna use it for your synthesis. From this matrix, you can show similarities, contrast, and progressions. So through this work also you can inform your audience that you really go deep into the available research works that have already been done in the past, and you really boil it down and giving the most important information to them. And also, I would like to recommend you to go to Becky Mendes' Edu blogs. She discussed about summarizing this evidence and meta-analysis in detail, which is really, really useful. And I highly recommend you to check the blog. And the last step is interpreting the findings. So based on your synthesis matrix, you will gonna write your literature review. And in this step, also consider your audience, and also your literature review should be interpreted with caution. That we have already discussed the biases, and you have to be aware of those biases when you interpret your findings. And here I included some helpful resources for you to write your research paper and literature review. So if you also have other resources that you found out helpful, please let us know. We can add those sources for other students to use it. Thank you.